United. It's so great to see you. And we've been enjoying so much these sessions with you. We prepared more materials, more stories, more interactive polls so that you can share with us all the emotions and all your learnings. Thank you so much for filling the survey. Thank you so much for replying to the emails, for sending your stories, for being part of this. We are all learning. We are enjoying this a lot, and today we are ready for more. So I'm going to share my screen as usual so we can go together through, let me just go to the screen. Give me just a second, bear with me. So we prepared really nice materials, and let's start with the plan for today, which is, can you see the screen? All good?
Yes.
You see it? Great, excellent. So we'll talk a bit about the last sessions. We will talk about creativity and creating our project. We will propose a very simple method that for us works really well. You don't have to follow it, but it's great, and you have available for you to use it. There's gonna be some guidelines because this is a part that we've been learning so many things that now is your part for you to tell your story. And at the end, we'll be talking about the questions for the astronaut too. So last session, we received feedback from you and it was wonderful. We received answers to the survey, stories coming from Indonesia. They tell us about different new anti-tsunami alarms that they have in place, new monitoring systems that we know are so important, new awareness programs that they've been part of, which is great. And then we've been receiving stories about security groups and simulations and trainings and drills that you've been doing in some of your places, which is wonderful. Very interesting stories and messages from ancestors that had previous experiences with tsunamis. Thank you, Cheryl Arastine, if you're there, for sharing your story. Then really interesting stories about mangrove barriers, natural barriers. These are beautiful as well. So thank you for sharing them too. And sorry that we cannot share all of them, but we just want to tell you that we read everything that you send, and it's so important for us to learn from you as well. So we are very curious about what topics from previous sessions were interesting to you. So we already had 2 conversations. So we'll go to the board, to the whiteboard, and then I'd like to ask you if you can type a few words saying about some things that you learned, some things that you enjoyed, that you remember, some of the things that we talked about. How did you feel about it? What were your favorite topics? As usual, you can write on the Canva. I can, for example, type that the words about the sea when you spoke all those different languages was for me a very special moment about the sea in different languages. That one I really loved when you shared all your words from so many languages. Feel free to write there. You can click on the T on the text and then, oops, I think languages. Yeah, so I put it small. Feel free to write anything in particular that you like. We discussed tsunamis, we discussed memory, we discussed creative examples of communications, science, the ocean, the reason that caused tsunamis. That was so interesting, right? I agree. And we always keep learning and learning and learning about those possible reasons. So yes, thank you for that. Someone learned what happened in the tsunami. Yes, in 2004. I really like it when you all write here. Feels like a shared space. although we don't know the names. I know it's us, right? But I enjoyed the interactive session. Yes, that's great. And that's wonderful because we worked a lot with the team. Rogmi, Nancy, and Rodri are part of the team. They are connected today and they've done an amazing job making all this interactive. So, yes, I'm glad that you enjoy it. Mm. And Ardito as well, but there's lots of technical efforts just to make sure that this works well. And I love the picture here of those girls planting the mangroves. We discussed that. Natural barriers, community participation, those are things that are very inspiring for us too. Inclusivity and stories from everyone participating. That's so important. I agree. And this is something that is growing and growing, just making sure that all people, everyone, no matter the barriers, the location, their conditions, that they can all be part. And that's inclusion and inclusivity is so, so important. The future of the ocean, that's another great topic. I agree. Really important. It's our ocean and it's our future, right? So making sure that we know about the ocean will help us be agents of change. So great to think about that too. Different alternatives of what will happen in our oceans in our future. Yes, couldn't agree more. Lots of challenges, and I hope that you will work on so many solutions as guardians of the Indian Ocean. Um, and hopefully we'll give you some tools and information so that you become experts over the years. Great. Someone's writing with a drawing tool. That's great. 2004 disaster. Yes, the effects. Yes, absolutely. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next one. I don't want to interrupt anyone, so I leave a few more seconds. We can reduce the risk of tsunamis. Yes, wonderful. We know the tsunamis are going to happen. We can reduce the risk and the impact. And we can reduce the impact on us, on our culture, on our communities, if we are prepared and learn about risk. Okay, great. Thank you so much. Um, shall we move to the next one? Great, excellent. So I'm going to share the screen again. There we go. Share, share, share. Fiona asked when the storytelling should be sent, please. Don't worry, we'll discuss that today and we'll give you very precise information on the dates as well. So yes, we discussed, thank you, Fiona. We'll talk about it later. What causes a tsunami? We discussed, talked about the memory, and you said beautiful things about memory, beautiful things. We talked about how we can reduce tsunami risk, and there are so many ways that we will always be learning about that. We learn so many things on that tsunami. So many things changed in disaster resilience, in global communications, in the way. Remember that the word tsunami wasn't even used before globally, before that event. So we learned what tsunamis really were, many people around the world. Many progress has been made in terms of policy, systems, protection, and it's good to learn about that. And at the same time, always know that it's never enough. Never, never enough. So our participation and our learning, it's so important. And we talked about the imagining the future of the ocean. Any of these topics, if you are really motivated by any of this, it could be the topic of your work, topic of your storytelling, topic of your research. So your motivation here matters a lot, what you feel most affinity, because you will require an effort. And when you do the effort, you may want to, you will know that this is something that makes sense, that is meaningful to you. So make sure that we build on your motivation. These are some of the topics that we discussed. If you want to go back to any of this, we'll send you the materials so you'll have the materials. And now we'll talk about creativity. Where do we start? Um, and the first one is about like starting with an idea, right? And we will always start with your motivation. You told us your career interests, for example. If you know, like you're going to be a teacher or you're going to be an architect or you want to be, no matter what you want to be, this is an opportunity to start learning about that you want to. So if that you want to study. So if you see a connection with the topic that you want to study, then this is an opportunity, I guess. So that's why I say motivations. If you felt moved or emotional about some of the stories that we heard, that is also an indicator. So what motivates you is like, it's up to you, it's your inspiration, but I would recommend, and we will recommend, choosing something that for you feels important, because it will make the whole work more meaningful to you. So what triggers a good idea? There are so many possibilities, right? Being curious is, in a way, the starting point. If you have a memory or if you remember a story that you heard, in your family or in your neighborhood or in your school, you may get deeper into that. If there's a scientific topic that you want to explore, early warnings. Early warnings are super interesting from the perspective of technology and communications. So if you want to study early warning, that's an option. And if you, yes, felt emotions regarding any of this, memory is a topic that you can record, that you can work about. Um, Public policy, what do the governments do to protect the citizens? This is something that you can definitely um, work on, right? So then a few more practical examples. An interview with someone that you say, hey, this person has a story. I want to do an interview to make sure that I learn from that story. Could be someone that was there in the tsunami and that has a story. You can take photograph and do a photo album and tell, for example, about your community and the tsunamis. I'm giving you examples, right? You don't have to follow the examples, but this may give you idea. Photograph of important people in your community that has a story. Photographs of important places of regarding, so in your place, for example, that were affected in the past or that have been rebuilt or that have early warning messages. These are, we are flexible. There's possibilities there. You can do a piece of art. You can create a song. You can write a story of something that you have heard, or like write a newspaper journalism, like a story for a new newspaper. So again, may I ask you if you use the chat? How do you feel about it? What is your main motivation for this work? Um, what are there topics that you're interested with about? Are there some things? Feel free to use the chat if you feel like you know what you really want to do. For example, again, the future of our ocean, your own. Yes, okay. So and when we say motivation, is like what is your interest? What do you feel like doing? What do you feel like researching? So feel free to use the chat or you can also talk because this is maybe the most important thing about doing any work or any creativity is that it's connected to what matters to you, to what feels important, to what you like as well. Um, Artists love their art, and sometimes their art is connected to topics. Sometimes it's just an expression. If you an internal expression. If you are artist or want to be artist, then this is your opportunity to create something with your art. And yeah, science is another really, really interesting tool to talk about this. I felt that I got more interested in tsunami and how to prevent it. Great. Thank you, Ahmed. Um, We are really happy that you are interested in that. So we show you some of our motivations. Even though we are much older than you, we are really interested in this topic as well. And when we showed you the girl and the tsunami, this is the end of the story. Our motivation was to hear about that girl that we read about. We wanted to talk to her and to learn to hear her story. And then when we heard her story and we recorded the conversation, then we thought, okay, this could be an animation. So the motivation was connecting with someone who had a powerful story to tell, to ensure safety and security, to learn and educate one another. Thank you, Ruby. Education could be really interesting. And your audience here could be your peers. My motivation is to know more about natural disasters and to prevent and to help people. Yes, that's great. We will try to focus on ocean resilience, on tsunamis, but yes, preventing and helping people, it's so important. And Dylan, here, like when you say helping people, you can consider that different people will have different needs. So one of the things when you refine your idea is that we may say, oh, which people may need something special or particular in terms of tsunami preparedness. Think of people with special needs, with low mobility, people that are very old. Your audience could be one of those groups, so that we can make sure that you help them. We need to know how to attend these kinds of natural disasters and help people. Yes. The unfortunate disaster had led to a loss of life, affecting thousands, ruining thousands, if not millions. I want to gain knowledge and help people raise awareness through artwork. Great. Thank you. So it's great that I can see the motivation, like to make a contribution, to help. That is beautiful. That is powerful. Protect your surrounding, protect your environment. I like that idea, Juliana, because you're talking about protecting also the habitat, right? The people, of course, but the animals, the plants, the community. Um, Learning about tsunamis, and yes, that's great. Yes, learning about tsunamis is a way of learning about the ocean, thinking about the future, learning about history, learning about earthquakes. So we are doing many things at the same time. How to prevent danger if it happens again. Thank you, Natakon. A way to prevent danger is the alerts. Alerts are really interesting to explore if you think about it. There's so many types of alerts. Sometimes alerts use music. Sometimes alerts use in animation. So alerts can be also a topic for creativity. I'm sorry that I'm drinking tea because I have a sore throat. So my motivation is to make people know about the risk and to make them aware. I'm motivated by the fact that I wish to make them protect themselves. That's great. So I can feel that you're really into protecting your communities, which is really wonderful. Motivation is to educate students to prevent the tsunami and its impacts of the world. That's great. So these are very powerful motivations. And this is the fire. This is the heart of it. This is where it all comes from, because then your ideas on what you do can change. You can realize that you may have a different idea or a better idea, or change the implementation, or even change um, the way that you distribute the message. So many things that you can change. But your motivation may well be what is the driving force behind that. So great. It's really powerful to have it, to connect with that motivation. And let's think about your audience. And what emotions do you want them to feel? Um, let's think about, some of you talked about your communities, other about other students, other about people in your people. Okay, when you send your message, when you create your story and you share it with them, what emotions do you want to evoke? Let's go to the poll and stop sharing, and we'll see the poll. And we'll talk about emotions. Emotions are so important because there we go. No, this is not the one. I'm seeing a poll, but we should see the whiteboard. I'm seeing a poll, but in any case, let me know if you see the whiteboard because I'm not seeing it. And last time, at some point, I did not see it. So we can, in the meantime, you can chat. You can use the chat. What emotions do you want your audience to feel when they receive your message? Great. So great. Are you, for some reason, I cannot see the whiteboard by Rob, but Rockme says that you can. So feel free to use it. If you cannot see it, let me know. And if you can see it, just type on it, emotions. And Rockme, maybe you help me here because I will not see the emotions. When you see emotions on the whiteboard,
Yes, sure.
help me a bit with them, reading them out loud. I want them to feel hope so that they can survive tsunami. Yes, hope is really interesting. Sometimes it's something we can share. Talks about the future. It's positive. If you want to open your microphone and talk about
Emiliano, yes,
emotions, yeah.
there is like one participant from the OI wants to speak. Would you like to?
Now I don't see that hand
Oh, it's
anymore.
lower hand anymore.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay, great. Yeah. Okay. You want to share some? Yes, go for it. How are you
Well, for the yeah, fine, thank you, sir. Well, for the emotions, I would like to actually address a very important point, and that is, uh, when you actually teach younger generations, um, especially like the ones who are born in the 2020s, and furthermore, those generations really need to know what happened back then. So basically to learn from the previous mistakes that happened way back then in 2004 and how to be more prepared for a current future. If you teach younger generations to think, to evaluate, and to control their emotions, uh, in terms of being more caring and more being more collaborative, then you will have a very, very good uh, and yet the best future for the all careers and all future
Yeah.
successful personnels.
Thank you so much for sharing that. If your audience, we'll talk about the audience in a minute, and yes, it can be other young people who did not experience the tsunami in 2004, but that is just an option. If you feel like also including adults and the rest of the community, you can. But of course, it's so if these are your motivations and your interests, go for it. Sounds great. There are different takes that we can take. So it's good that we can go in different directions, but that one sounds compelling and important. Thank you. So I want to pass them the message that we are together in bad situations, says Aldi. I want them to feel and understand that we can overcome something as long as to help each other and be careful with our action. Yes, Juliana, thank you so much. Um, Tato from South Africa, I want to make them feel less scared, calm, and more prepared in case it happens again. Um, Hasti Buali says that want to feel aware and responsible and spread the information. Responsibility and sympathy, says Ghazal from Iran, Ghazal Rezai. Love and hope for the lost ones. And this is again, there's no right or wrong here, but all those emotions that it's great to reflect on that now so that in your message you try to convey those emotions. If people feel emotions when they receive your message, they will pay more attention, they will connect it with their own experience, they will remember it more, they will feel more like taking action. Emotions are like magic. If this is just about information and no emotions, it may go unnoticed. So what you feel as a communicator and what the audience feels as your audience is so, so important. Emotions are never enough, right? But there's a message and there's some emotions that you want to convey, and it's good to reflect on that. Again, there's no right or wrong. Sometimes people who feel fear, they make right decisions. Of course, it's better to feel good, positive sensations and emotions. Yes, but at the same time, any of the emotions can lead to responsible decisions. Different people react differently. So this is what makes us human so complex and so interesting. So again, it's great to talk about emotions. Here they shared with me for some reason I wasn't seeing it, but I'm reading now the chat. Serenity, serenity, courageous. I wanted to feel safe and aware. Hope. I wanted to feel less scared. I wanted people to feel a collective sense of identity. That's really powerful. Collective sense of identity, especially at the community level, it's so important because um, any future disaster will be experienced as a community. It will be experienced locally as a community. Even if it's huge and regional and affects many countries, the experience of it will be local with your community. So this sense of that we are all on this together and talking about we, this also it's another interesting path to explore in communications. In psychology, it's called collective efficacy. This idea that we together can do something, can make a change, can make a difference, that we can do it. It's called collective efficacy. Um, Wonderful. Thank you so much. We'll continue with the presentation. I can see that you're really connected to this, so this is really exciting. Thank you so much for your ideas, your thoughts. I really feel that this is teamwork. So let's go for more. Great, great, great. So we talked about emotions, and I feel happier now that we talked about emotions. Great. So let's talk about possible formats because we said these are very different formats that you can explore. And again, think of it about something that you've seen before and you really love, you love the video and you want to do a video, you can. You love the poem and you want to do a poem about this, you can. You loved an interview that you read once and you want to do an interview, this is the moment. So think of something that also that have moved you in the past. I'm not seeing the poll. Romney, please. Okay, great. Now I see it again. So what are your favorite formats? And again, you don't have to do what you answer now, right? But I want to have a feeling, and we want to have a feeling of your preferences. I can see no poets, for example, no poems. So we'll delete that from the list. A poster, that's a good one. A photograph, an essay, a video, other. Okay, lots of people who are into video. And then a poster is growing. And these are not the only options, right? These are not the only options. Great. Excellent. So again, you have flexibility here. You can prepare a presentation with slides. You can prepare a text telling a story. Videos are great. So of course you can do video. We'll talk about video later on. Great. So we'll end the poll. Thank you for sharing. Great. Sorry about that. And then, okay, we'll move on and we'll talk about something that we call a methodology. It sounds too serious, but it's not really serious. It's about doing things in a logical order. And again, many of us, the adults connected today, normally do risk communication. So we will tell you a bit about how we work. This can be useful for you, although you don't have to follow this directly. There are other ways of doing it, but this is a logical order. So, first one, we think it's good to have a goal. You mentioned some really general goals in the chat, but you may want to be more specific sometimes. For example, and this is important, this year there's a Tsunami Awareness Day in November. One goal would be to promote that day. One goal would be to make sure that more people talk about tsunamis that day or before that day so that they can participate in activities. So having a goal and thinking about what you want to achieve, it's really good. Then there are things that you will be able to control, other not. Then measuring if you achieve it or not sometimes is complex, but let's try to achieve something. So, and based on your goal, you can do some research. Some research sometimes is talking to people you admire, or this could be an opportunity to talk to a disaster risk manager, for example, or this could be an opportunity to talk to someone in meteorology, or to talk to someone who knows a lot about the ocean, or someone who experienced the tsunami. So creative research is reading on the web. You can read information, but creative research is also about talking to people that may have something interesting to share with you. And this is very another powerful way to come up with great stories. Again, our example, the girl and the tsunami. Did that girl save her community? Who is she? Where is she? Let's look for her. Let's talk to her. And when you talk to her and you have the story, then you decide what the material. And we said, okay, in that take, it's animation. Why? Because it's very difficult to film a tsunami. It's very difficult. We were in the pandemic, so animation, this was something that we could do without leaving home, no video. But then again, creative research, and let's see this in more detail. When we say about defining your goals, think about what you want to say and the main message of your project. It could be you talked about being prepared. What is being prepared in your context? You can maybe share those preparedness tips with your community and prepare design, prepare messages for social media, for example, or to share with all students. This is an opportunity to define a message. Alert, some of you talked about alerts. An alert is a message. It's a much, hey, run, hey, there's a threat. Alert, watch out, warning, go to the shelter, or go uphill. So alerts are messaging. So this is another topic, preparing also well. Tsunami Day, Awareness Day could be a message itself. There's a day in which we remember, there's a day in which we all reflect on the past and the future of tsunamis. So these are all examples of important messages. So remember that we will send you these slides, right? So you can take notes, but at the same time, try to connect it with also your motivations. Remember that we shared some beautiful examples. A group getting together, that the same kids that drew when they were young, when they were a child, then they got together and shared the stories and reflected on the time and the learnings and how they are growing. This is a beautiful example. We talked already about the Awareness Day, about memory. This is going to happen in November, so it's super important. We talked about, in some places, there are some initiatives in which people get together to walk away from the coast, just to practice what they will do if one day they receive alerts. So this could be related to your topic. And then we said some examples of the second part, creative research. We said an interview. We said, but of course you can use the web. And the web has so many interesting resources. And we also have been sharing with you materials. In this presentation, you will find more. And then you can use that to read more about something that is meaningful for you. And this is another example. Members of an NGO, local organizations, they have really powerful stories. So this could be an opportunity for you to know any local organization that works around disasters. Maybe you go and talk to them. Maybe if you're interested in the topic, maybe then you can volunteer. Who knows? Of course, that's your motivation and your impact. But one of the amazing things about communications is that connects people that were not connected. So when you plan a campaign, this is the opportunity to connect with the people you admire. In some campaigns, we work with musicians, we work with famous sports people. Next month, we're going to talk to an astronaut in space. This is like examples of opportunities or using communications to meet amazing people that you will learn from. Resilience and preparedness always will come from bonding, from new relationships, from learning from each other, and hopefully before. Of course, when there's an impact, you meet people as well, and that's important. But preparedness is also about talking to each other about this and meeting people that have different knowledge, different ideas, different perspectives. So when we say creative research, it's like really open. It's not just reading the Wikipedia, which is great. This is an opportunity to make meaningful connections. Even with a grandmother or grandfather that has a wonderful story, maybe this is a time to sit down, have a wonderful tea, and learn a story like in detail, to get deeper into someone in your family that has an important story to tell. This could be your opportunity to learn from someone that you care about. So these are some examples, initiatives that we find really inspiring: mangrove trees plantations. We already mentioned this. So we move into the third. This is a proposed methodology or logical order. We said your goal and your message. Then we said being creative to go out there to get more materials. And this is the third one. Very, very important in terms of communications. Maybe the most important. Maybe. I will not say it's the most important, but maybe it's the most important, because if you're creating as a message and a communications for someone, then it's important to take time to reflect on that audience. If it's our friend from UEA who just spoke, sorry, is it Ibrahim? You spoke about other people with that were not there in that tsunami, young people like you, right? Or younger than 20. Okay, that's an audience. That's a possible audience. It's not the only audience, but that's a possible audience. So taking the time to think about them, and why would they connect with this topic? So this is a time to reflect. Okay, see, if I'm going to talk to younger than 20s, then we may ask ourselves, what are their passions? What are they interested in? What is their attention? Attention here is so important, because there's not much attention. Like people pay attention to what they like, and it's difficult to attract people's attention. So what do they pay attention to, your audience? What do they love? What are they worried about? Where are they? Do they use a cell phone? Do they read? Do they like music? Do they like sport? Because at the end of the day, you want to connect with them emotionally. You want your audience to feel that your message is important. And for that to happen, you need to reflect on what is important for them, right? So that you build something that is in line with what they are passionate about or what they care about. Let's say what they care about. Um, so, and also you've been testing in a way with yourselves, right? Because I assume that tsunamis as a topic has been new in the last conversations for you. I mean, you learn new things. So maybe, yes, a possible target is audience is people like you who may not know all the things that you are learning, right? I'm reading the chat to see if I missed anything. No, great, excellent. So this is a third one. Know your audience. What do they like? What do they know? What are they interested in? And your audience can be big, and it can be your whole community, or it can be specific. If you want to talk to specific audiences, let's say, who could it be? Well, yours is a good example. Very young people. That's great. Excellent. Or maybe you want to talk to people that may need to evacuate. Okay. Or you may want to talk to your local community and invite them to participate in a drill or in a local activity about disaster. So it can be really specific. And again, it depends on your motivation. So you can learn about them in different ways. And this is the third, but let's move to the fourth one. So we already discussed the goal. We discussed creative research. We discussed reflecting on your audience. So now we're going to make important decisions. Choosing a format, I could tell that you like video. Video is something that you can do, and we can give a few tips for video as well. An illustration could be another one. Photography could be another one. An essay can be another one. And here's a good thing, an important thing. It's very important to have a clear, catchy, good title that descriptive, but at the same time catchy, that it's attractive, so that it makes you feel curious, and have at least to be able to describe your project in just one sentence, right? So this is a musical message for this type of people, or this is an invitation to participate in Tsunami Awareness Day. Or this is a tutorial on how to react to alerts. So it's important that you manage to articulate in one sentence what you're actually doing. And this is an exercise that it's important because you don't have to cover many things. If you're taking too long to explain what you're doing, it may be that you're covering many things. It's so much more important to be able to focus on something that you think it's important and then get deeper into it, but not cover so many things, because there are so many topics, and it may be difficult for your audience to follow you and follow your message if you're saying so many things. Then you can get deeper if you want, right? But let's try to have good title, clear description. Choose a format, choose the title, choose the description, and one line that says, it's an interview with a survivor to share learnings. Wonderful, that's clear. So then, of course, you can get deeper into that. The interview can be long and can be rich and can be cover lots of things, but being able to define it very quickly is so important. Excellent. So social media infographic. You can do messages for social media. Title, Tsunami Ready, facts and tips for coastal communities. This is very clear. Description, this is an infographic providing essential information about safety and evacuation. Get Tsunami Ready with our informative graphic. So this is a way, an example of how we present and describe an idea, scope. Then, of course, you can create many designs. It doesn't necessarily be short, doesn't have to be short, the materials, the presentation, but the way you define it, yes, your work will be evaluated by professionals. And when you evaluate someone else's work, it's very important to have, okay, I start with a title. Okay, I know where this is going. I have a clear description. Okay, great. This is the intention. This is going to be a video with an interview. Okay, great. So now that I understand what this is all about, I get deeper into the interview, right? This is important for your evaluation and also for your audience, right? And this is an exercise. I mean, this is something that you learn over the years. It's easy to say it. I must admit that working in communications for so many years, it took us some time, and it's still a learning process to be able to articulate this clearly, short, that everyone understands. Then your project could be a super long documentary with so much depth, But you have to, when you're looking for someone who will support you, you're looking for someone that you want to watch it, you have to understand what it is about. And if the title is catchy, easy to understand, feels important, it's clear, okay, now get deeper into it. Now I will make the decision to watch it all. And I'm imagining that I'm the audience. Great. So, and then of course, it's about preparing the material and creating your project. How are you going to craft it and distribute it? Okay, great. So there will be materials. I will recommend you, some of you are like, can be really ambitious and want to cover a lot. That's great. But let's make sure that a short version of what you're trying to achieve is realistic, is something that you can do, that it makes sense, that it has a message. So I would recommend not to be too ambitious in terms of doing a video that is incredibly long or an essay that is super long that covers all the topics and then so many recordings. Let's go to what really makes a difference and be logical in the order. You learned about challenges, you learned about hazard, you learned about possible scenarios, you have your motivations on what can be done, you have your emotions that you want to trigger. And then when you get deeper, okay, this is what I want to say, and this is how I want to say it. So if you have questions, then you feel free to ask, but you have to create materials. If there are recordings, make sure that it's clear the context. No matter what materials you create, this is where we are. This is what happened here in the past. This is who we are talking about. I'm in this school. I'm Emiliano. I'm part of this school. I'm part of this community. This is what happened in the past. This is interesting for me because of that reason. This is the audience. It's important to provide context so that all that makes you special. Each of you are unique, you're in different places of the world and in a different culture with all the richness. So let's make sure that that context is there because each of us and in our own places are like really unique. And the rest of us will be really curious about that. How in your country they discuss and they talk about tsunamis. So this is the cultural part is so important because as a team, all of us connected today, this is what makes us powerful, like so many cultures connecting from different places. So make sure that all that is your people, your colors, your values, your practices, your emotions, all that's in your amazing places are opportunities to make your work unique, right? So think of that as well. And I was talking about materials, sorry. And why do I use this? Because when we create materials, you may look around. When you do the recordings, took the pictures, everything that's around you can potentially be materials. So again, there we go. So these were 5 different steps that we proposed. Very clear, very short is the goal, the research, the audience, the format, the title, the description, and the materials. It may seem a lot, but this is what communications is about. And don't forget the emotions. Emotions are very important. And next time we can get deeper into that. So I'm sorry, I had so many air conditioning that I have a bit of a cough. So again, formats and language. So let's see some important things that you will need. This was sent to you. And campaign theme, you already know it. We want to raise awareness. We want to make people talk about it. One school can submit up to 2 entries. We cannot submit more than 2 entries from one school. The campaign must be the result of collaboration. This is important. We're looking to have collaborations that we can learn from each other. You can work for someone in your class, or if you don't have anyone to work with, let us know and we connect you with someone else in the Tsunami United team. Then, at least three, a group should consist of at least 3, and 2 students should be registered in the Tsunami United alumni. Let me share again, sorry I missed that. Okay, so this is collaborative, a group at least 3, and two should be already here registered, and you can invite one more. And each group should at least have 1 email or mail student. Great. So it's a combination, they have to be mixed. Then materials. It's flexible in terms of language. You can use your own language, and if the music is in national language, please send us the translation. Then if it's performing art, you can submit the concept, the story, the meaning, and then the performance in English separately. Documentary or animation video, if the video is in local or national language, include the subtitles or submit the English translation because we want to be able to evaluate. The same thing for the poetry, poem, posters, paintings, photography, illustration. Photography, maybe not, but please provide context and some description so that we can understand in English what it's all about. There's going to be evaluation and review, and the criteria is very clear. We'll send this by email. You already received this by email, I think. I'm almost sure. Of course, feel free to take notes, and if you have questions, you can ask us. But we are evaluating content, creativity, the type of presentation, the originality, and how well it has been technically executed. So this is what we will be evaluating. And here there are a few more details. I will not go directly into each one of them, but in content, we talked about accuracy, clarity, target audience, very important. You can describe what target audience you are talking about. Originality and concept, creativity and artistic presentation. It's about how appealing it is, how unique the ideas and the story are, the connection and concept to the team, and then the technical execution, the quality of the technical aspects, sound, video, lighting, etc. We know that you may not be the best super producers, but we are all still learning. But of course, if you take the time to try to do something that looks beautiful, then this will be appreciated in the evaluation. Again, don't feel at all intimidated, but this is like the idea is to make us our best work possible. This is not an exam or right or wrongs. This is just to help you consider these aspects. This is what makes a communications work appealing, compelling, efficient, powerful. So this is also, rather than feeling stressed about all the requirements, this is an opportunity to learn about what makes a good communications successful. So this is a good exercise to reflect on that. The jury will review, evaluate, and decide on the best campaign results. The jury will select the top 3 campaigns for each region group. There are different regional groups. So we will select the first 3. And they will be announced in early October 2024. The organizers will showcase the best campaign results at the end of the year in the very important commemorations of the 20th tsunami. So the best campaign results will have that visibility which is a really interesting contribution of the best work just to be featured in those commemorations, and UNESCO will make that work visible. Great. So there will be 3 winners from each region, first, second, and third. The school and all the students who registered and submitted their campaign will receive a certificate of participation. So, and you took part in this. You learned about memory, about science, about tsunamis, about communications. So you will get a certificate for all your efforts. The best campaign results will be featured, we mentioned that, and the winning schools and students will receive a special certificate of achievement. So this is important, this is UNESCO, this is international, so it may be good for your careers as well. While you work, while you use social media, you can post all your Tsunami United activities and Tsunami Awareness campaign. We are suggesting a few hashtags. We are Tsunami Ready, IO Youth Video Competition, IO Tsunami, International Youth Day. So all those hashtags, you can use them. You can mention the accounts of the people in the presentation. We will send you this, so don't worry, just to take notes of everything. And here I had an important question about the dates. So opening date for registration, you need to register, and that's going to be July the 1st. So you register that you will be submitting your work. Registration doesn't mean submitting your work. It means that you let us know that you're working on this with a team. And then you will have all July and all August, 2 months for submission, which is September the 3rd. So you can submit before, right? You can submit much before. And in fact, we can start evaluating if you do so, but you don't have to. So we wanted to allow plenty of time for you to work on it when you need to integrate it with your activities and your other activities. So there will be time. The announcement of winners will be first week of October. So again, if you want, you can take a picture of this or take a screenshot, or just wait for the presentation because we will send you this. Great, so there are important links like the Tsunami United website, the Tsunami Awareness Campaign, also there's information about the competition, there's letter of consent form that it's available for download. So all these important links are there for you, and you will receive, I'm sure you received it before, but you will receive this again. So yes, okay. So before about to talk the space and astronauts and other adventures, I would like to know if there's any question. You can use the chat so I can ask here any questions. Okay, yes. It was Ibrahim, right? Go for it. You're muted, so please unmute it.
Oh, no problem. Actually, I got a question related to the people who are gonna basically write an essay, just like me. As you mentioned, sir, you said that there's actually a possibility of an essay.
Yeah,
And the thing is, how many words do you need exactly for that essay? And the format, how does the format need to be structured? And for the essays, what particular content exactly you want to us to write about in the essays?
great. If you like writing, essays can be really an important medium. So that's super important. As a format, that's something definitely you can work on. How do you write it? Let's start with the topic, right? Because that's what will drive the rest. Do you have any topic in mind?
Yes, I do, but I'm not really sure about it because I'm still thinking about it.
Okay, if you want to talk about it, we can, but I would start from the topic because if you have if you choose a topic, then it will be really interesting for us to know why this is important for you, and this essay, what do you want to achieve about that topic. For example, without an example, it's not that easy because it may change depending on the example. But we don't want to be a very extensive essay, but we want to make sure that we have a good context, that we start with your motivation on what you try to achieve. What is the topic that, if you're researching a topic, when you write an essay, you're basically, most of the times, you're learning about something and teaching what you're learning to others, right? So you may choose a topic that you thought, okay, you found this interesting for this and this and this reason. You think that this is important because potentially it may have, well, let's say we're talking about, okay, early warning. So you want to write an essay on early warning. So why is it important? Well, because it's a way of alerting populations so that they can react fast. You will have to start by defining early warning. What is it about? Great. And then, and why it's important. Then you may say, in your country, in your place, what's the state of the art? Okay, and is there other systems? Are they in place? And then you may want to talk to someone who is an expert on that, or find more information about that. And you may want to explore what are the good benefits and positive things about having these systems in place. And you may describe what they do in your community. And then you may ask questions about the future of early warnings, like what are the possible challenges? How can they grow? As an example, can AI help them improve? So early warnings systems are really interesting for different reasons. They combine science and communications and engineering and infrastructure. They have great things, and then there are things that need to be improved, like with anything. So the whole thing can be structuring your topic. Like, what's your motivation? Why is it important? What is it about? What you research? And then you may have a goal. And depending on that goal, the rest of your essay can change. For example, you may say, many people are not aware about those early warning systems. Okay. So you may talk about what are the ideas that you have to help those people be aware of the early warning system. So try to think it from all the elements that we discussed: motivation, goal, audience, emotions, so that what you send out there will be meaningful to someone, right? So that they learn something new the same way you're learning something new in this conversation, right? Let's move on to Sarja from Indian School. Can you unmute?
Hello, sir. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. So I wanted to ask you, earlier you said that each group must have at least one male or female member. But the problem is we are a boys only school. So what should we do?
I'm sure we can, of course, make an exception if this is a boys' school. We will confirm, but we want to simplify things and that you can start working on it. So if it's only boys, then let me confirm that with Ardito, who could not make it, but we certainly you'll be able to work only boys.
I want to ask one more thing. That is it compulsory for each school to have two groups, or is one enough for the?
You can have one group as long as you comply with the other recommendations that we presented.
Okay, so if you are creating a video, what is the minimum duration of the video? Like, is there a time limit?
There's not a minimum. I would say that it's better for you not to do something very long.
Okay.
That you may create long version, but then just to try to make it shorter so that many more people watch it. Make sure that it's easy to understand. Make sure that it has a goal, that it has a context that is clear, easy to understand, right? So
Okay.
The beginning is super important. You may start with a problem. Okay, here we have, in this community, we want to explore this topic. This is all the progress and these are the opportunities. I don't know. It's open for you to do it, but it's important that you provide context and clarity at the beginning before getting deeper, right? So you can do it longer if you want, but it's important that in the first 30 seconds, if I'm watching it, I need to understand what it is about very clearly, right? Then you can get deeper, then you can continue, but don't expect people to understand what your video is about by minute 6, because you may lose them. So make sure that the beginning is clear and easy to understand and people understand what it's about. Good.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Can I ask one more last question? It's not a problem.
Let's give the others a chance, and but I'll come back to you. Raise your hand again, and I'll get back to you. Miriam. I lost you, Miriam, but then, okay, there you go. Can you unmute yourself? I love that you're connecting from a car. I sometimes take calls from a car, and yes, great.
I have a question. Story have to write the story in format like a story
You
in
know,
sequences, or it is
you're
a story.
you're cutting out a lot, so let's try slowly, or I may ask you to go through the chat window. Try again, slow.
So we have to write a story and a format and a format or just let me see and a story.
Unfortunately, I could only understand that we have to write a story and then it cuts out a lot. So
Okay, written.
can you ask us on the chat window? And I answer now?
Yes, yes.
Great. So let's go to Ahmed, and Miriam, I'll make sure that I answer you if you type on the chat. Ahmed,
Hello. Can I write an informational text?
write the information in text if you want to.
Like generally about tsunamis and cause effects and warning systems. Can I do that?
Absolutely, yes. And make sure that you also put it in context. If you're talking about the region, then maybe you start covering the region, but maybe then you cover your country and maybe your community. Give us a perspective. If you're going to get deeper into that, um, give us a local perspective. What makes your place and your country unique in terms of that? I think it's an opportunity for you to share with the rest what are your learnings and contexts and challenges in your place. Again, it's flexible. You can do it many ways. This is just suggestions, but I'm trying to suggest lines
Okay.
for you to make it very interesting for the rest. Think also about all of us connected here, right? If you're diving into this topic, there are many particularities about that topic in your place. So there's an opportunity for that.
Yeah, but my country was not affected by the tsunami,
Okay.
any tsunami.
Okay, so in that case, if you want to go general about the region, maybe find out, it would be interesting for you to see if in the past there had been tsunamis in your country.
Oh,
If you can include that historical perspective, then also it may be great for you to connect it with local experience, right, in your country.
yes. Okay, thank you.
But that topic works perfectly well. Oni, Madagascar.
I am going to ask you something about the format.
Yes.
I wish to ask you something about the format. Like, are we allowed to combine, for example, if we want to do a showing, can we make it more clear by using a poem or something like that?
Can you repeat? I didn't understand really well.
Like, for example, if we decide to do a showing, can we write a poem with it for example, to make it more clear? Or do we only have to choose one of the format you had proposed?
Okay, you can cover two. I would recommend that the two of them are part of a story, somehow that they have a connection. So if you feel like doing both, you can. The part of the poem, I understand, but when you talk about the showing, I don't understand what format you're talking about. Just to imagine,
A
I want
drawing,
a showing.
like an illustration.
Oh, drawing. Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes. Drawing and poems, they can go incredibly well. So you can do a series of poems with illustrations or one or many poems and illustrations. Yes, of course, feel free to do that and we'll be curious to read them.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And that's in a way two formats, but it's the two formats that go really well together. So sometimes you see illustrations in a book. So that's gonna work. Thank you so much. Miriam, I didn't see your question on the chat. If you can type it, I think it will be better for me to be able to understand. Of course, we can try again the audio in a minute. So next one is Eliud from Kenya, right?
Now, for someone like me who lives in a place where not many people know about tsunami and I have to write a story, how will I be able to get the information?
Okay, the information about tsunamis and all that we've been discussing is in the presentations that we send. And don't worry about the available information. Maybe the question is, what is your topic of interest, right?
Yes.
What about the coast in Kenya? The threats and the challenges of the coast in Kenya, because it was affected by the 2004, if I'm not wrong, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the information should be available on the web and we provided links. And if you need support, you can connect with us. You can send us a message. Are you interested in these natural hazards in Kenya in particular? What are your interests?
Yeah, the hazards caused by the tsunami are along the coast. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, if you want to focus on tsunamis in Kenya, you may find out what happened in 2004, tell that story. You may find out if there had been previous tsunamis in the past there, if that's your interest. What are the coastal hazards that are related to that one in the coast? You can talk and find out about, if you're interested in that, in the coast in your country and how it's affected by this problem.
Okay, thank you.
Does it make sense? Am I answering your question? Because if you still feel,
Yeah.
you can ask more.
I know it's just okay.
Thank you.
Thank
You,
you too.
Liu. Yes. So next is Aldi and Vinizio. Where are you from, Aldi?
I'm from Madagascar.
Madagascar. Wonderful.
I have a question. If we create a song, do we have to tell a story of a survivor, or can we just talk about preparedness? And
Yes. You can talk about preparedness. That song is it's up to you in terms of the content. I will share two links with you on the WhatsApp now, in the chat now. This is Disaster Fighters. This is a song, two songs that we really like. Many of us worked on this. Let me just meeting group chat. Great. There we go. So this is a link here. Don't watch it now, please. So I don't want you to lose your attention. But then there's another that the song in. I'm going to share another example of music that we did in Haiti. I want to make sure that I sent you the link in English, so that you can also watch this. Okay, great.
I have
So
another question.
another song, this is Hurricanes in Haiti. So the answer for you is that you don't need to talk about survival. You talk about anything that that feels relevant. And a song, yes, is great for preparedness. It's great to raise awareness. It's great to tell people, hey, this is important. Pay attention. We should do this to be more prepared.
Okay.
Right?
Another question, please. Can
Yeah.
we make music video?
Yes, you can do video of the song. You can do the song,
Yeah.
record the song, and do the video.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. We are looking forward to listening to that song. And make sure that you copy those two links that I copied on the chat window. These are professional videos, right? And professional musicians, but they can serve as inspiration. Thank you.
Thank you.
Andy. Thank you. Pakistan, Aima.
Sir, I have a question. That can we have that information that you had give to us? Sir,
Information
the
about
information
what?
you had give
Yeah.
the project. Can we have this again?
Can we have what?
Can you please explain a short summary of project that what do we have to do?
Okay. Yes. When you, I'm going to share again the screen again, and we don't have many more minutes, but remember this. What do we have to do? It's this. So you think about a message about tsunamis that you want to communicate, because we want to make people talk about tsunamis. So we want to create a message, and that message can be a song, like a friend from Madagascar was mentioning. It can be an essay, like others did. It can be a scientific research about the causes of tsunami. Anything that you found interesting that we've been talking about in the talks, you can use it and you can learn about it. This is an opportunity for you to get deeper into something that you're interested about. So you can, if you think you define your goals, you learn about it and do a bit of research, you think about who will read or who will listen to your song. An example, if you need an example on how to be more specific, think about your people in your community and you want them to learn what you learn about tsunamis in general. This is something that you can work on. And what part of the tsunamis that we've been discussing? It can be whatever that you feel important. Have you been into the two previous talks that we did? Were you here with us the last two times?
Yes, sir, I was.
Great. Which part did you like the most? Some topic that you found, oh, this is interesting?
The effects that cause tsunami.
The effects, oh, say that again.
The effects that cause tsunami.
Okay, like what causes a tsunami, right? We discussed the four ways, right? Okay,
yes.
Great. You can write about that. You can create drawings about that. You can prepare some materials to teach others in your community about that you found so interesting. If you want to write it, you can write it. If you want to present it in any other way, like illustration and a poem, like our other colleague friend was just saying, feel free to do so. So then the format is up to you. What do you like to do video? Do you like to write? What do you like most?
Sir, it should be descriptive or short note.
That depends on you, but it has to be easy to understand. Like, because you
Okay,
want
sir.
other people to learn, and for them to learn, it's easy to understand. I think that you don't have to something long. So you don't have to do something long, but you can do long if you want. But make sure that this is something that other people in your community, maybe your age or can be anyone, you decide who's that people, that they will benefit from reading or receiving your message, that they will learn something new. So if you feel like you learned something new and you want to share it, then this is your opportunity.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for being here and thank you for your questions. And if you have more questions, we are here to ask. So Aldi, did you already talk? Because I already see your hand. Try to lower down your hand when you're done. Same thing, Aima. Great. So we have UAE. I don't see your name. Feel free to. What's your name?
Yeah, Gursimran Kaur is my name, and I have a doubt regarding the project. Is it all right if we combine 2 or 3 formats to form our project?
You can combine, but make sure that they are all try to build on the same message, right? Okay, so these are, for example, these are different things that we can do to be more prepared. And then you can use different media to show different things. You can, but the topic is one. So in one line, like again, I'm saying an example. You can apply it to yours, but in one line, it has to be very easy to understand for everyone that evaluates or everyone that will see your work. What is it about? Okay, these are different ways our community can get prepared for tsunami. Great. And then you use different media for each way, for example. That could be, but it has to be clear why you're using different media, right?
Okay.
Next one, Jessica.
So it's just a little question. Is it possible if we write a story inspiring by a real story or a movie, and after combine with it letter essay, including some research, which will be talking about how Madagascar was impacted by the tsunami and like a kind of our awareness.
Okay, I hear an echo, so I'm not sure if there's two computers there connected to the same call, so it may be echoing, so it's not easy to understand. You talked about a movie at the beginning, and then I'm sorry, if Madagascar was affected, can you repeat it?
So, first, I have thinking about writing a story which will be inspiring by a real story or a movie, and at the end a letter essay which will be talking about how my region was really impacted by the tsunami and including on it some research.
Okay, great. I would try to make sure that not to do many things at the same time. If your topic is how your community was affected and how it could be affected in the future, and what are the things that can be done or are being done, just try to make sure that they all work together, right? So I'm not sure if I get the movie part. So if you see that the movie brings information on about this topic, then feel free to quote it and give your opinion. Yes. Okay. Great. Next one. Next one, and we only have 3 minutes, so we'll have to close very, 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 very soon. And I need to show you in the meantime, very quickly, that we will be talking the week of July 22 with space. This will be an open conversation, open transmission. We received 86 submissions with questions. Participating schools from 15 countries, which is great. 10 questions plus 4 backup will be selected, and those will be able to ask the question to the astronaut through Zoom alive. The rest will be able to follow this on YouTube. So the questions will be related to all the topics that you sent us. They were great. Thank you for sending them over. They were very inspiring. We are really looking forward to this. And very soon we will confirm the exact day that this will happen. But as I said, it's the week of July the 22. We sent you different materials that you will see in the materials. How to tell stories. You will see all these materials in the presentations that we send. And then also,
Hello.
let me just see. Okay, and the next steps. These are the next steps. So the contact and the rehearsal is going to be the week of July 22nd. The next webinar is in August. So it's going to be after that talk with the astronaut. So feel free to continue working on your format, on your story, on your work, because the materials are there. You can just start now. The next webinar is the 1st of August. We will miss you. I hope that you will miss us too. Good luck with your work. If you have questions, you can send them to us, and we will connect for you we'll send the link during July for you to connect to the astronauts, and we will notify the schools that will be able to ask those questions live. So we are on time. Is there any more important question? Feel free to do so. We may give it just 1 more minute, and otherwise we take a picture. Iran, Asti, go for it.
Yes, one of my question has been asked, but the other one is that we have the same problem as India, and we're studying in a girls' school, and we're all female. Is there any problem with this?
No, there's no problem. Go for it like that. It will be an exception because we try to make it mixed. But of course, if your school is only female, only girls, go for it. Don't worry.
Thanks a lot.
Excellent. Thank you so much for your participation, your energy, your ideas, your emotions, your questions, your time, your knowledge, your perspectives, your opinions. It's been great to connect again with all of you. Hope that you learned something new. We are learning a lot in these conversations, and it's so great to connect with so many of you from different countries. So if you can turn on the cameras, we will take a picture so that we will never, ever forget this special moment. And one of us in the team will take some pictures. We turn on the videos so we see each other's faces, so many wonderful people all around. So let's take a picture smiling now.
Nancy.
Yay. Excellent. And then we take
another one.
Yes, we take another one. And hello, Indian Ocean. Hello, so many countries. So great to see you today.
Last one.
And the last one. Big smiles. Wonderful.
Right.
Thank
you.
you. Maybe you can turn on the microphone and say thank you in your languages. Of course, if you speak English, you say thank you. I will say muchas gracias.
Shukran, shukran.
Shukran, Gigi.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
อย่าบอกนะ
ขอบคุณครับ thank you
Hello, Matiko.
Bye. Thank you so much. Muchas gracias. Bye bye. See you next
Bye.
time. See you in August.
See you in the last session.
See you in the next session.